All right, guys, PDP has come out with a brand new controller. It is the AfterGlow Wave controller. This thing is pretty freaking cool. Not for the simple fact that it's got RGB lights on it, but it does something super special that I have found that other controllers just don't do. You have to hang out and find out, or go to the chapters that will be below. But anyways, let's get started with the buttons on this X, A, Y, B button. These aren't super mushy, but they do have the memory under them. I feel like still, they're fine. There's nothing special about them. They work, they're there, they're good to go. The D-pad on this controller is fine. There's nothing special about it. It's the round, it's not the cross, or it's not a real deep satellite dish. It has nice grooves in the corners, so you can get that rotation on there if you into the gaming like that. Speaking of the D-pad, it does have a volume control on here, which controls your in-game volume and chat volume, and then plus your overall volume. You would just hit the little button down here at the bottom and then hit the corresponding button that you want to do. Talking about the volume control on this, well, how do you use it? Of course, it's going to be the 3.5mm jack that plugs in the bottom of this controller. I did test it out for a few minutes and make sure it worked. Everything worked fine. There's nothing special about it. Again, this is a $40 controller, so it works. When it comes to the joysticks on this controller, first of all, they are pretty good. There's no issues with them. They're not super tight, but they're not super loose either. They're really in the middle, in my personal opinion. They have really good snapback when you play with them. And control freaks do fit these controllers, the normal ones for your Xbox Series S and X, just Xbox control freaks. I have links in the description for those, and also this controller if you want to check it out after the review. But they feel pretty good, and they have RGB lights around them, which makes it just a little bit better in my personal opinion. All right, so the top of the controller, it has triggers on them, like most controllers do. They have some texture on them. They look good. I like the way they look. They feel good, they feel nice, they got nice pull on them and stuff. What they don't have is trigger stops. Yes, I don't know why this controller doesn't have it. It's okay, it's not the end of the world, but I would very, very much prefer to have these on a pro-like style controller. The buttons on the top of the controller are buttons. They do what buttons do. They click, they work, and there's no issues with them at all. With pro controllers, normally they come with extra buttons, and that's exactly what this controller has. It has 2 extra buttons on the bottom of it. They have a nice little design to them. They have a little bit of a clickiness to them as well, which I personally like, and they're located perfect in my personal opinion for just the way we hold the controller and stuff. They just fit right underneath. If you're watching the video still, evidently you like the video, please help your boy out and hit that like button. It really does help smaller content creators like myself to get known by other people. Oh yeah, and one more thing, big shout out to my members. Yeah, I have members now. If you didn't know that, you can become a member and support your boy to, well, eventually do this full time. That's my goal, that's my dream, that's what I'm hoping to do. Check it out, hit the join button, see some of the perks you get. There will be more coming later, of course. Let's talk about build and comfort of the controller. The controller is a little bit on the light side, but it is to be expected because like most of the controllers I do, this is a wire controller. It does feel very comfortable in my hands. The buttons are placed perfectly underneath, I feel like. And there is some texture underneath, you know, just a little bit of texture so you don't slip, the controller don't slip out of your hand or anything. Like I said, it's nothing special, and not like the Elite Series Core, but this is a $40 controller compared to a $120 controller, which, by the way, comes with buttons on it. A $40 controller comes with buttons and a $120 controller doesn't. Take that for what it's worth. So this controller has a 2-year warranty on it. Yep, it's a 2-year warranty. So if you have problems with it, make sure you reach out to them. Make sure you have the receipt from Amazon, because I have a link in the description below, so you can buy the controller and you can keep the receipt there and you don't have to go looking for it. And get your controller fixed. If it comes out of the box with stick drift, get your controller fixed. If it's stick drift that's horrible, get your controller fixed. Don't comment below saying the controller came out of the box with stick drift. Send it back. These things are made in mass productions, so controllers will come out of the box messed up sometimes. This is just how this works. This is how it goes. I thought my chair was about to break on me. Did y'all hear that? If not, wow. I've lost 150 pounds and this chair is still screaming at me to get out of it. Let's talk about a couple of cons on the controller. I'm not happy with the That's the same con I had with the Razer V2 Chroma V2 controller. The USB-C on the front of the controller, I love the USB-C. I just don't like how it's just kind of in there hanging. There's no real support there. I understand that the plates inside these things are made to kind of flex and stuff, but this thing is gonna wear out over time. PowerA has this done right, in my personal opinion. They have something that just kind of slides in and it cradles it all the way around, and it just kind of holds it in there tight, so there's no movement and there's no looseness, and it'll keep that port from going bad a lot longer. It'll last a lot longer if they were to do something like this. So if they could implement this or do something a little bit better than just kind of having it on the front of the controller, I personally would like that. So another thing on this is the software where you can have 4 different profiles. Well, these profiles are for RGB lights. Why did we not make them for the underneath buttons as well? Like, I can't have different buttons set for underneath. Talking about buttons underneath the controller, remapping and stuff, you can't remap on the go. So I can't map buttons to different profiles. I have different style buttons underneath, and I can't map on the go. I have to use the app. It's kind of it's annoying a little bit. Like, if I'm in a, if I want to, I just think it's kind of stupid. It's not a deal breaker by any stretch of your imagination, but I wish they'd have done something different here. The other thing is just the trigger stops. It kind of was like, I wish they would have added trigger stops to this for the amount of money it would have cost to put this in production on this controller. I really feel like it would have been minimal, if at all, hardly a few cents a controller, and it would have just added that little bit more of a touch to the controller. Not saying the controller sucks, because it doesn't by any stretch of the imagination, but these are my cons for this controller. I have them for every controller. They're not that bad. Moving on. Let's talk about trigger pull. So let's get into trigger pull. We're gonna turn around and do that, but before we do, understand that this is, in my personal opinion, the first Xbox controller I was able to overclock. With that being said, let's check it out. All right, guys, usually I just put the numbers up on the screen, not to bore you with me testing the controller stuff, but this controller overclocked. I need to show that to you guys. It's plain and simple as that. If you want to learn how to overclock your controller, there's 2 ways you can do it. 1, you can let me know in the comments below you want me to teach you what to download and all that, or 2, you can go to Gamer Heaven's channel. He is the most detailed YouTuber I've found so far that does Xbox controllers, PlayStation controllers, and all the other stuff. I've learned a lot from him, and well, he has a video out on this already. Yeah, he's awesome, so I'll just put it out there. So you can just check his channel out. So I have it overclocked. I'm not going to show y'all unoverclocked. There's just no point of doing it. I was getting a 250 hertz pull on it, and I was getting around 4 seconds. It was a 4 second, and I was getting I think it was like 6 max. So it was actually really good pulling for it not being overclocked. So I'm just gonna show it to you being overclocked. All right. So y'all see what I see, and we're gonna spin it, and you can see the numbers. So, okay, look, my max, okay, so here we go. Average is 1.9, my minimum is 0.5, and my max is 9. Now, this is the weird thing, because when I do overclock it, my max does go up, but going back and looking, it's very minuscule. You know what I mean? It's not all the time. It's not happening a lot. I'm getting, I get some 7s here and there, but a lot of them are under 1, and it's at a 517 pulling rate. And I'll just do it one more time to show you guys, but you're getting a 2. 1.9. You're getting an average of 2 milliseconds on an Xbox controller for 40 bucks. You're able to overclock this controller. This controller was doing 4 before I overclocked it. Then I lost 2 milliseconds after overclocking this controller. So this is the first controller you can overclock that I know of on Xbox, because they have a limiter thing inside where you aren't supposed to be able to overclock them. So I don't know what's going on with this controller, why you can overclock it, but you can. So we're just gonna go with it like that. Okay, all right, cool. Moving on to stick drift on the controller. Stick drift out of the box was great. There was no stick drift, plain and simple. In a discussion, I did some tests on it, had no issues with it, and it was perfectly fine. So with that being said, what I want to show you guys now is the app real quick. We're just going to show you the app on here live while y'all are here. All right, and you can download this on the Microsoft Store. I will put a link in the description for you guys that are using Windows, and if there's a version out for Mac, I'll put it down there as well. But this is a PC application. I believe I didn't see anything about you being able to get it on Android or iPhone or anything like that, so that does suck. but it is what it is. But yeah, once you plug it up, this will immediately pop up. If it needs an update, it'll tell you it needs an update. You can just click on it, and then from here, you can go in here and you do all kind of stuff. You can, you know, these are just quick guides. You can click on here and analog 6. You can, you know, you can do dead zone on here. But you have audio options where you can come in here, plug it up, and you can adjust your game to your chat mix. Mic monitoring, you can turn it all the way down. If you, like me personally, I hate mic monitoring. You can do all that from here. Triggers, you can do the dead zone here as well. Vibration, again, you have vibration you can do, and you hear it. They're good. Lots of vibration there. And then remapping buttons, you can simply come here to the original button. You can click anything on the controller and then take it and put it whatever you want to do it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I do like that about this. It's still unfortunate that I can only remap. I can only do the profiles for the controller. And these are the profiles here. You can set profiles up for each one and then go through them, cycle through them, and get what you want to get on them, which that's pretty much the same. But yeah, and you can, I mean, you literally can just, you know, change it here. Here, we'll go here. Static, you can change it just like that. But the bad thing about it is you cannot have the buttons on the profiles. So whatever you set these buttons for remapping wise on the back of the controller, this is what they're stuck at. Per, you know, you can't have one set of buttons per profile. It's the same set for every profile. I think that was dumb. They could have done something better there. Other than that, that's really all there is to the app. Let's wrap this thing up. So my final thoughts on the controller of this. For $40, this controller is amazing for the simple fact that you can actually overclock this controller. I was getting speeds as low as 0.9 and then averaging 2 milliseconds. I've never seen that on an Xbox controller, which makes this a unique Xbox controller. This also has extra buttons on it, the triggers and the joysticks and the 0 stick drift out of the box. For $40, this is a great controller. The only other controller I can compare it to would be the Spectrum Infinity controller. If you want to see a comparison on that video, make sure you hit the like button and let me know in the comments below. But for now, guys, if you want to see some other reviews I did, maybe the Mini or the Elite Series 2 core that I feel like is overpriced, make sure you click on the videos over here to my left, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, tell someone you love them.